Hello guys and welcome back to the big data tutorial on data fanatics. Today let's talk about our first challenge. Just to summarize, till now we have seen MapReduce queries for counting words, getting frequency of each word and letter in a file. So let's see what is our first challenge. Okay, now you need to find the frequency of each pair of letters in the document. Let's understand this with an example. Suppose you have a line hello yellow. Now you need to form pair of letters. So for example, for the first word we have HEELLLLO, and for the next word we have YELLELLO and OW. For HE we have only one frequency. For EL it arrives twice, once in hello and once in yellow. Similarly double N, double L, LOYE and OW. So that's what you need to do. Just need to find the frequency of each pair. If you can do it, then go ahead. Otherwise, now I will give you a hint or maybe explain the process flow that how you need to do it. Okay, if you are still around, let's see the hint. First of all, you need to split the line by words. Now this is because we do not want to find the pair with the space, right? We do not want O and space to form a pair or space comma yellow to form a pair. So that's why we need to split the line by words. Then we need to run a nested loop, nested for loop. Now what does nested mean? It means a for loop inside a for loop. Now the first for loop will select each word from the list that was formed by splitting the line. Okay. And the second for loop, it will select pair of letters for each word. And finally, in the third step, we aggregate the values. So go ahead and solve it. If you're not able to do it, then I will be explaining it. Welcome back, guys. I hope you were able to solve it. If not, then let's see how to do it. Okay, so before we begin, I just want to explain a small concept. And by the way, if you are wondering what is this, then this is Jupyter Notebook and you can very easily install it from Anaconda launcher too. So let's understand. Suppose you have a word or a string hello. Now you can access each letter of this word using index value. Let's see. So if I want to like extract H, then I will simply say string 0. So it will give me H. And if I say string 1, then it will give me E. So if I run a for loop for I in range 0 to 5, print string I. So here I am selecting each element in this string, in this variable from 0 to 4. What happens in this range is that it runs from the first value to 1 minus the last value. So that means this for loop will be running from 0 to 4. Okay. And also the string is from 0 to 4 because we start our allocation from 0. So let's run this. And this is the output. So we selected each element by the index value. So this is what we will be using to make the pairs. And let's get started. There are actually two ways to solve this problem. The first one is coding it, and the next one is using a function called zip. Well, the lines of code remain same, but for zip, it becomes a little bit easy. But when we code it, we understand it better. So first we will be using the coding method. We will code it, and the next method we will be understanding using zip. So let's get the code from last time. We will be making some minor changes. Let's change the name over here. Frequency pair method 1. Change it over here to method 1. Okay. Now let's talk about for loop. So as we discussed in the process flow, first we will be splitting the lines into words and then selecting each word. And then for that each word, we will be forming the pairs. So let's do it. For each word in lines.split. Okay, so we have performed two functions over here. First of all, we have split the lines into the words, and then we have selecting each word from those lines. Now for each of those words, we want to form pairs, right? So let me write the code first. For I in range 0 to length of each word -1. Okay, now this length function is actually passing the length of this word. Okay, let's understand this with an example. Suppose you have a word hello. So this length function will be passing the length 5. Now this for loop will be running from 0 to 3. Because we know that in range, the loop runs from the first element till -1, the last element. Okay, and then we have done the -1 to the length. Now why we are doing this is because we cannot form the pair for O. Okay, so first the I will be equal to 0, then the pair will be H and E. For I equal to 1, the pair will be E and L. For I equal to 2, pair will be L and L. And for finally I equal to 3, the pair will be equal to L and O. Right? We do not need the last element O because we cannot form pair for it. Let's see how we will be yielding these pairs. So finally yield, and let's pass a key into a bracket. Each word I, and now we select the element next to it. So each word I plus 1. So this whole is our key, and the count for each element for each, you can say, pair right now is 1. We will be aggregating it later on. So this is what's happening. For 0, we will be selecting the 0th element and the element next to 0. So that's H and E. And then for 1, we will be selecting E and L. So that's how we will be selecting keys over here, and the program is complete. Let's remove this line. Python mr frequency pair method1.py. Now the name of the file, and that's happiness.txt. Let's run it. Okay, so here we go. We have got the count for each pairs, and okay, here we can see we have got some capital letters too. Now we can scale this. We just need to write over here .load, like we used in our last program. In our last lecture, we saw that this converts the letter to its lowercase. Now let's save it and run it again. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. Now all the letters are in lowercase and we have got all the pairs. Now let's see how to solve this problem using zip. Let's open a new file. Copy the code from here. We will be only changing 1 or 2 lines. Here we go. Method 2. Let's quickly do it. Method 2 over here. Method 2 over here. Okay. Okay. Now the first line will remain same because we want to split the line and select each word from it. But now we will be forming pairs using zip. Let's see how zip works. Let's see what happens in zip, and it actually forms pair of letters. Let's see how it does that. Simply let's define a string hello. Now for zip we just need to type zip, and in this brackets we need to pass the two strings that we want to club together. For example, if in the first I pass hell and in the next one I pass ELLO. Now if I run this, then it's actually a zip element. To select each element from it, we need to run a for loop. So for pair in zip print pair. Okay, so here we go. This is what's actually happening. H with E and E with L, L with L, and finally L with O. If I add an extra element over here, then it will be actually ignored because there is no pairing for that over here. So if I run this, the pairs are same. Doesn't matter if I add more elements because here are only 4 elements, so it will be only selecting 4 elements from the first string too. Let's use this variable over here. If I run string, and over here we need to run the string from E, from the next element, second element we can say. So string 1 colon. Now 1 colon, this means that I want to run this string from the second element, that's from this 1 index till the last index. Colon and nothing over here means that till the last. So I'm not using the 0th element, that's the H, and I am selecting elements from E to O. Let's run this and we get the same result. H, E, E, L, 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 and L, O. So that's how zip works. Now in our second method, we will be using this to solve our problem. So let's do it. Okay, now we know how zip works and we actually need to perform a very similar function that we performed in the Jupyter notebook. So here we are selecting for pair in, let's remove this, in zip. Now there we use string, over here we have each word. So each word, comma, now from the second element, that's 1 colon. So there we go. Here the key will be pair. Let's save this up and let's run it. Okay, so here we go. Now we have the output. So let's check with the previous output. Suppose for, let's check over here. Okay, INN, we have 32. And the last and the new one for INN, we have 29. Okay, now the problem is that over there, we actually converted the capital letters into small letters, but here we haven't done that. So if we want to convert those letters to lower, then here instead of selecting the pairs, we need to select each element separately. So like I, comma J. Now I am selecting each letter for in the pair separately. For example, for hello, the H is in I and E is in J. Now here our yield will also change. Here the first thing will be I dot lower and J dot lower. And just add a comma over here. Here we go. Let's save it and run it. And let's check for I, comma N. So here we go. We have got 32 now. That's how it works. That's all for today, guys. I hope you like this video. See you in the next lecture.